I'm Weather 2020 meteorologist Gary Lezak. Are you sensing the change? A massive change is taking place this week. The LRC is continuing to evolve. We're just 2 to 3 weeks away from unveiling our new LRC model, the pattern bending model for the next year ahead. The winter forecast will still be coming out in the first week of December, which we'll talk about here in just a minute on some of these winter forecasts that have come out way too early. All right, let's take a look and see what's going on. And we will start from the beginning here. Order in chaos, Eastern Pacific mysteries, and the first major cold front. We'll talk about that here coming up. What is going on? This is the forecast map for Thursday morning. A very cold air mass will be strengthening over the northern plains. And look at this. Snow from Idaho into Montana. This is for Thursday. This will be round 2 or 3 of rain and thunderstorms coming up across Oklahoma, Texas, into western Missouri and Iowa, where they really need the rain. More on that here in just a few minutes. The LRC is the centerpiece of the big atmospheric puzzle, the order in chaos. El Nino is developing. Enzo is one of those pieces. And El Nino is the warming of the tropical Pacific Ocean. The warming of the tropical Pacific Ocean waters, and it's going to be influencing the pattern this season. Now let me make a point clear. I'm going to go back to full screen real quick. Some of these winter forecasts that have come out, most of them, emphasize El Nino. Last year, how did that work? Enzo, the El Nino Southern Oscillation Index, last year was in a La Nina, and the forecast said California's drought would worsen and continue. Weather 2020, using the LRC as a centerpiece, predicted that California would be very wet and the drought would end. And the drought ended, which we'll see here in just a few minutes. So just because you see these El Nino emphasized forecasts, remember, they're not including the biggest piece of the puzzle. All right, this right here, as you can see. All right, so let's take a look again. El Nino is developing, and El Nino is strengthening. It'll be officially an El Nino by the end of this month, and you'll hear a lot more about it. The weather pattern cycling, we are in cycle 1 of this year's pattern. Once we know a little bit more, we'll run our computer model, and our forecasts for the winter, spring, and summer will be as accurate as the 10-day forecast on any of these other models beginning soon. I showed this last week. It was fascinating to me, so I'm going to show it again. I've added another week in, so this is from the beginning of the LRC, October 6th or 7th, to the 22nd, the first 16 days of the pattern. It was what, from Wyoming to western sections of Michigan, and actually all the way up to Maine. So there's a whole wet stretch up here and in the southeastern United States around Georgia and northern Florida. And so that's this year. Last year, at the same time, look at that. That's this year and last year, all right? So this year, last year. This year, last year. Something very different is happening. I just wanted to show that because it's pretty fascinating to me. The drought last year, remember the red is exceptional drought in central California, parts of Kansas. So watch this whole area out west. See how it all ended. Almost all of California now is drought-free. We're watching this area, Louisiana, Iowa, eastern Kansas, western Missouri. This area is about to get a good drink of water. But look at last year compared to this year. It's a pretty significant difference. The outlook for the next 5 days is for snow to pile up 1 to 2 feet over parts of Montana, Wyoming, maybe northern Nebraska, and parts of North Dakota and northern Minnesota. So we'll see exactly how this sets up. This is just the next 5 days snowfall forecast. Even around Lake Tahoe and the ski areas starting to get some snow in the next 5 days with these disturbances. And then from Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, south into this very dry region, it is predicted to have 1, 2 to 3, even 4 or 5 inches of rain or more in Oklahoma. So we'll watch and see how this evolves. This is the outlook for the next 10 days. Rain and melted down snow. Louisiana continues to be dry. This area is an exceptional drought, and it looks like the beginning of this pattern is dry next 10 days or so in the southeastern United States. What's causing all these changes? There's a split flow developing, all right? Very complex pattern. There's this energy coming in across southern Alaska right now, today, on Monday, October 23rd. This energy is dropping south. What happens to it next? The models have not handled well. In fact, the GFS model, the American model, has been superior to all the other models, including the European model, on how this energy was going to drop in and form a trough out west. And there's also a feature right in here. It's called a high amplitude ridge. When they lean over and they're high amplitude like this, remember it's now dark at the North Pole over most of northern Canada. So when high pressure at the surface develops, it gets colder and colder and colder with light winds and clear skies. That's how cold air masses build up. And this type of ridge is what builds that high pressure, and it's going to allow this polar air mass to drop southward. And that is cold. 20s from the northwestern half of Kansas by Sunday morning, all the way up into this area of 0 degrees to maybe even a few spots below 0 up here across parts of Montana, Idaho, and North Dakota. So very cold air coming down, and that'll impact how this storm system acts in the next week or so. So in conclusion, these accurate predictions bring value to you as a farmer, as an energy trader, as a business, or just even for your travel plans if you're an individual at home. There's value to our predictions that we have that go long range. Thank you for being a customer and spreading the word. Enhanced reliability, improved decision making, and monetized opportunities. So there you go. There's the latest report. Read through this. I spent a long time writing this. So take a look. Let me know if you have any questions. And have a great day. The LRC is just now evolving. All right? El Nino is one factor. The Arctic Oscillation, North Atlantic Oscillation, PNA, MJO, other factors we'll discuss as we get closer to our winter forecast, which is just weeks away. I'm meteorologist Gary Lezak. Have a great week.